Ever wondered who tested the king's food to make sure it wasn't poisoned? These brave, or maybe just unlucky people, literally ate death for breakfast. From ancient Rome to medieval castles, royal food tasters played history's most dangerous game of what's for dinner. Think your job is tough? Imagine having might die at lunch in your daily schedule. Royal food tasters weren't just fancy snackers, they were the original human shield, except with forks instead of armor. Here's the wild part. These folks had to wait hours after tasting to prove the food was safe. They didn't just take a quick bite and give a thumbs up. They had to analyze everything about the meal, the smell, taste, and how their body reacted to it. And get this, some food tasters even had to eat everything the king ate, in the exact same amount. Talk about a job with killer benefits. Literally. It's like being a food critic, except instead of stars, you're rating dishes on a scale from totally safe to definitely poisoned. Let me introduce you to Mithridates VI, the original poison-proof king. This guy took the whole "what doesn't kill you makes you stronger" thing way too literally. Every morning he'd take tiny doses of poison with his breakfast, like the world's worst vitamin supplement. He started this wild routine when he was young after seeing his dad get poisoned. But here's the crazy part. It actually worked. He built up such strong immunity that when he finally tried to poison himself to avoid capture by the Romans, he couldn't do it. Imagine being so good at not dying that you can't even kill yourself. They say he had to ask a soldier to finish the job with a sword. Talk about job security. This king was literally too tough to poison. Ancient Egyptians had a wild way of testing for poison. They turned scorpions into tiny food critics. These specialized poison experts would drop food samples into tanks with scorpions. If the scorpions went nuts, that was a big red flag. The food was probably poisoned. But wait, it gets better. They also use snakes, mice, and even ducks as their personal poison detection squad. These animal testers were like the ancient version of a food safety lab, except way more metal. The really skilled tamers could even tell which type of poison might be present based on how different animals reacted. Imagine that job interview. So, what are your qualifications? Oh, I just hang out with scorpions and feed them suspicious meals all day. Ancient Rome was basically the original murder mystery dinner theater, except nobody was acting. Take Emperor Claudius. This guy survived dozens of assassination attempts, only to allegedly get taken out by poisoned mushrooms. His wife Agrippina supposedly served them up so her son Nero could grab the throne. Then there's the infamous case of Britannicus, Nero's stepbrother, who dropped dead mid-dinner party. The official story? Natural causes. Yeah, right. The drink was so toxic they say it changed color when poured. And let's not forget Locusta, Rome's first celebrity poisoner. She was like the ancient world's evil Martha Stewart, cooking up deadly recipes for the elite. She even ran a poison-making school. These weren't just random murders. They were elaborate political power moves served with a side of deadly herbs. Medieval assassins got super creative with their poison delivery systems. These folks were like the James Bonds of their time. Poison rings were the hottest deadly fashion trend, with tiny compartments that could spike a drink faster than you could say cheers. But that's just the beginning. Some killers hollowed out book pages to hide poison powder, while others crafted deadly gems that would dissolve in wine. My favorite has to be the poisoned candles that release toxic fumes. Talk about setting the mood for murder. Even gloves got the deadly makeover treatment, with assassins coating the inside with slow-acting poisons. Makes you wonder how many natural deaths back then were actually from a handshake gone wrong. Rasputin was like the Terminator of poison survival. This guy just wouldn't die. When some nobles tried to take him out, they laced his wine and food with enough cyanide to kill an elephant. But Rasputin, he kept partying like it was just another Friday night. The assassins watched in horror as he downed glass after glass of poisoned wine, munching on toxic cakes, totally unfazed. Some say he had built up immunity like Mithridates, others think he had some mystic powers. But here's the kicker. It took shooting him multiple times, beating him up, and throwing him in a frozen river to finally finish the job. Talk about a tough customer. Let's get real about this whole poison immunity thing. It's not exactly something you should try at home. While Mithridates' strategy sounds like a superhero origin story, modern science gives us a more complicated picture. Your body can build tolerance to some substances, sure, just like how coffee drinkers need more caffeine over time to feel the buzz. But deadly poisons? That's a whole different ball game. Most toxins don't work that way. They'll just slowly wreck your organs or build up in your system until you're in serious trouble. Think of it like trying to become bulletproof by shooting yourself with smaller bullets. Sounds cool, but definitely not a smart life choice. These days, protecting world leaders from poison looks more like a spy movie than a medieval castle. Modern leaders have teams of food security experts using high-tech scanners and chemical detectors that would make James Bond jealous. The White House kitchen? It's basically a fortress with ingredients sourced from secret locations and chefs who've passed more background checks than a CIA agent. And get this, some leaders travel with sealed food packets, their own water supplies, and even personal chefs who cook in special secure kitchens. The Queen's security team even used to keep a spare meal in a safe, just in case. Pretty wild, right? It's like the ancient food tasters got a serious tech upgrade. Let's meet history's luckiest royal survivors. They're basically the cats of the monarchy with 9 lives each. Take Queen Elizabeth I. She survived everything from poisoned gloves to a toxic saddle. Yes, someone tried to poison her butt. Then there's Charles VII of France, who had such paranoia about poison that he starved himself. But ironically, that's what saved him when someone actually tried to poison his food. My favorite is King Zog of Albania. This guy survived 55 assassination attempts and just kept ruling like it was no big deal. He'd casually light up a cigarette after dodging bullets and poison attempts, making James Bond look like an amateur. The wild part: most of these royals ended up dying from totally normal causes. Talk about playing the long game. Here's a wild twist. All that royal paranoia about poison actually pushed medicine forward. While kings were freaking out about their dinner, their doctors were accidentally becoming pioneers in toxicology. Take Venice's Poison Control Center. It started as a royal protection service, but ended up creating some of the first antidotes we know about. These medieval scientists were mixing up treatments in their labs like ancient Walter White's, minus the crime part. They figured out that charcoal could absorb poison, that certain herbs could counteract specific toxins, and that milk could help with metal poisoning. Royal food tasters even helped map out poison symptoms, basically writing the first medical textbooks through trial and error, though I'm sure they weren't too thrilled about being the test subjects. Thanks for joining me on this wild ride through history's deadliest dining rooms. If you enjoyed this taste of dangerous royal drama, smash that like button and subscribe for more historical adventures. Share with your friends. It's totally safe, I promise.